What is basketball for you?
For me,
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 for me, basketball is health. Yes, health.
for me, basketball is a teamwork.
for me, basketball is fun and exciting.
for me, basketball is easy.
For me, basketball is a game that you can relieve your stress.
for me, basketball is a game played between two teams of 5 players in which goals are scored by throwing a ball to a netted hoop fixed at each end of the court.
for me, basketball is an exciting sport. It is played by every man and some women wants to learn how to play. And it teaches good sportsmanship and enhances our abilities and skills. So let us learn how to play basketball. What is basketball? Let us define basketball. Basketball is a game played by two teams composed of 5 members, and it is played inside a rectangular court. Each team tries to score by passing and dribbling and shooting the ball through the opponent's goal, or what we call basketball ring or rim. Basketball is played locally and especially internationally. Basketball has rules and what we call fouls. Let us know the history of basketball. It will be discussed by our classmate Miss Khyra Caralipio.
History of basketball. In contrast to other sports, basketball has a clear origin. It is not the evolution from an ancient game or another sport, and the inventor is well known as Dr. James Naismith. Naismith was born in 1861 in Ramsay Township, Ontario, Canada. He graduated as physician at McGill University in Montreal and was primarily interested in sport physiology. In 1891, while working as a physical education teacher at the YMCA International Training School in the United States, Naismith was faced with the problem of finding in 14 days an indoor game to provide athletic distraction for the students at the school for Christian workers. After discarding the idea of adopting outdoor games like soccer and lacrosse, Naismith recalled the concept of a game of his school days known as duck on a rock, and it involved accuracy attempting to knock a duck off the top of a large rock by tossing another rock at it. Starting from there, Naismith developed a set of 13 rules that gave origin to the game of basketball. Of course, it was not exactly as we know it today. The first game was played with a soccer ball and 2-pitch basket nailed 10 feet high used as goals on a court just half the size of present-day court. The basket retained their bottoms, so balls scored into the basket had to be poked out with a long dowel each time, and dribbling was not part of the original game. The sport was an instant success, and thanks to the initial impulse received by the YMCA movement, basketball's popularity quickly grew nationwide and was introduced in many nations. Although Naismith never saw the game develop into the spectacular game we know these days, he had the honor to witness basketball become an Olympic sport at the 1936 Games held in Berlin.
Good day everyone! For this part, I'll be discussing the facility used in basketball. So what is a basketball court? It is a playing surface consisting of a rectangular floor with baskets at each end. In professional or organized basketball, especially when played indoors, it is usually made out of a wood, often a maple, and highly polished and completed with a 10-foot rim. Outdoor surfaces are generally made from standard paving materials, such as concrete and asphalt. Dimensions of basketball court. Basketball courts comes in different sizes. In the National Basketball Association or NBA, the court is 94 by 50 feet or 28.7 by 15.2 meters. Under the International Basketball Federation or FIBA rules, the court is slightly smaller, measuring 91.9 by 49.2 feet or 28 by 15 meters. In amateur basketball, the court sizes vary widely. The basketballs are always 10 feet or 3.05 meters above the floor, except possibly in youth competition. For a clearer discussion about the basketball courts, let's talk about its part and areas. First, let's look at the whole court diagram. First is the sideline. Sideline are the boundary lines that run along the sides of the court. A player is out of bounds if they touch or cross the lines. Along with baseline and end line, they establish the size of the playing area. Second is the baseline and end line. It is the boundary line running along the edges of the court on the sides behind the baskets. It marks where a player or the ball goes out of bounds and is used to separate the area of play and the area that is out of bounds. Baseline and end line are interchangeable terms depending upon which team has ball position. Baseline is used for the offensive end of the court. End line is used for the back court or defensive end of the court. Mid-court line or half-court line. It is the line down the center of the floor. It divides the full court or the entire playing area into two half-courts. Your front court is the half-court with your basket, and the back court is the half-court with the opponent's basket. The front court is where the team plays offense, while the back court is where a team defends its net. Each court is relative to each team, which it is identified based on the player's perspective or team. The mid-court line is also used for jump balls. Next is the center line. The only two players permitted to enter this area prior to the tip-off are the players contesting the jump ball, usually but not always centers. Both players jump when the referee throws the ball in the air, each attempting to tap the ball into the hands or of a player of their own teams. 3-point line. The 3-point line is the line that separates the 2-point area from the 3-point area. Any shot converted beyond this line counts as 3 points. If the shooting player steps on the line, it is counted as 2 points. Any foul made in the act of shooting beyond the 3-point line would give the player 3 free throws if the shot does not go in, and 1 if it does. The distance to the 3-point line from the center of the basket varies depending on the level or league. These are the current distances with the league or level using each distance. 19.75 feet or 6.02 meters for high school, 22.145 feet or 6.749 meters for NCAA, 21.65 feet or 6.6 meters to 22.15 feet or 6.75 meters for WNBA and FIBA, and lastly 22 feet or 6.71 meters to 23.75 feet or 7.24 meters in NBA. The free throw line. This line is used as boundary line when shooting free throws. It is 15 away from the backboard. On a free throw attempt, the shooter cannot step or cross this line until the ball strikes the rim. The free throw line is also used in defining the 3-second area. Free throw circle. The free throw circles have a diameter of 12 feet. They come into play on free throws and jump balls. During a free throw attempt, the shooter must remain inside the free throw circles. On jump balls, non-jumpers must remain outside the circle until the ball is stopped by one of the jumpers. Lane line. Lane lines are boundaries running from the free throw line to the baseline. The width and shape of the lane lines vary on depending levels of the game. The lane lines also contain the lane spaces markings used to align and separate the non-shooters. The first lane space on both sides of the basket are occupied by the opposing team from the free throw shooter. Non-shooters cannot step into the 3-second area until the ball leaves the free throw shooter's hand. Perimeter. The perimeter is defined as the areas outside the free throw lane and inside the 3-point line. Shots converted successfully made from this area are called perimeter shots or medium range shots. If a player's foot is on the 3-point line, the shot is considered a perimeter shot. Key. The key, free throw lane or shaded lane refers to the usually painted area beneath the basket. For the NBA, it is 16 feet or 4.9 meters wide. For the NCAA, it is 12 feet or 3.7 meters wide. And for both instances, it extends 15 feet or 4.6 from the backboard. Substitution box. It is where the substitution takes place. The players will wait the right time to enter the game. Game officials and scorer table. This is where the MCs, officials, and scorers are seated. Team bench area. It is where the team or substitute players are seated together with their coaches. Now, let's take a little closer to the parts and areas in half courts. It is very important to use the proper terminology when describing these areas. The court areas of a typical basketball court include: number 1, the 3-second area. This is the area below the free throw line and between the lane lines. It is sometimes called the paint since in most gyms, it is painted. If any offensive player remains in this area for more than 3 seconds, it is a violation and the other team gets the ball. Note that some professional leagues like the NBA also limit the defensive players to 3 seconds in this area as well. Second, block. The block is a buffer area painted on the lane lines separating offensive and defensive players during a free throw attempt. Additionally, it is a very strategic area during the game. Any player, offensive or defensive, establishing a position on the block gains a definite advantage. Low post area. The low post is defined as the areas that are closest to the basket but outside of the free throw lane. This area is fundamental to strategy in basketball. Skilled low post players can score many points per game without ever taking a jump shot. In other words, it is the area near the block on either side of the lane or paint area, so about halfway up the lane toward the free throw line. Next is the high post or elbow. The elbow is the area of the court where the free throw line meets the lane line. Like the block, the elbows become important on dribble penetration. Any player, offense or defense, who gets to the elbow first will gain an advantage. Next is free throw line extended. This imaginary line represents the extension of the free throw line across the width of the court. Most coaches use it to establish defensive rules. When the ball is above the free throw line extended, a certain rule applies. When the ball is below it, another rule applies. It is also used as a reference for offensive player alignment. Top of the key. The top of circle is the area straight out from the basket just outside the free throw circle. It is used primarily as a reference for aligning offensive and defensive players. It is also a favorite spot from which many players like to shoot. Next is the wing. The wing area is located on the side of the court near the free throw line extended. Wing areas are designated ball side or weak side, according to the location of the player with the ball. The wing on the side as the ball handler is the ball side or strong side wing. Meanwhile, the wing on the side away from the ball. Handler is the weak side wing. The corner is primarily used to designate the area where the sideline and baseline meet. It is another favorite area from which players like to shoot. It is usually an open area when zone defense is played. However, it is also an area where the defense can easily trap an offensive player with the ball. Short corner. It is between the corner and the basket, about 12 feet out. It is a strategic offensive area, especially used against zone defenses. Restricted area. In professional basketball, there is a semicircular restraining area in front of the basket. No offensive charges can be taken by defenders when they are positioned on or inside the area. It is also known as the restricted arc, or no charge semicircle. In NBA, the restricted area measures 4 feet out in every direction from the basket. The size is reduced to 3 feet in NCAA competitions, while the radius used for FIBA and other international competitions is slightly over 4 feet. Basket or hoop. This is the net or basket where the ball be shot by the players. Backboard. The rectangular piece of wood or fiberglass that the rim attaches to. For the equipments used in basketball, Mr. Mendeguarin next to me will discuss about it.
Since John Lesther Tejada already introduced the court and its dimension, what are the other things needed in basketball? First is the rim and the backboard. Of course, without this, where will the players will shoot the ball? The ring is made up of solid iron with a 45 cm diameter with an attached net. The rim is affixed to a horizontal board placed 3.05 meters or 10 feet above the floor, and it has a measurement of 6 by 3.5 feet. Next is the ball. The very first ball was used was a soccer ball until 1840 when an actual basketball was invented. The ball shall be made of leather or rubber and synthetic materials. According to Wilson, for men, the size of the ball is size 7 and have a standard weight of 22 oz. For women, the size of the ball is size 6 and have a standard weight of 20 oz. Its colors shall be dark orange for men's basketball and tricolor for women's basketball. Next is uniform. Uniform is also needed in a basketball game, though here in the streets of the Philippines, even the players don't have a uniform, they still continue the game just for fun. But for those who compete like NBA, PBA, or Interbarangay, they need to have a uniform. And these are some of the examples. As you can see, the jersey have a number. The players can use 0 or 00, and this number may range from 1 to 99. If you're asking, can two players share the same jersey number? The answer is no, because these numbers are identifiers. Also, the team must have a minimum of 2 sets of shirts. Going to the shorts must end above the knee, and it should match the color of the shirt. The socks need to be visible, and of course, the left and right shoe must match. Next is a shot clock. A shot clock is a countdown timer used in basketball that provides a set amount of time, usually 24 to 35 seconds depending on the league, that a team may possess the ball before attempting to score a field goal. It is distinct from the game clock, which displays the time remaining in the period of play. Last is a whistle. The referee uses this to call a dead ball situation. When a foul or violation happens, the official will blow this whistle to stop the play. Now that we know the equipment and facilities used in basketball, we are now going to know what are the fundamentals or basic rules in basketball, that to be discussed by Rommel Melocotones and Glenn Aquino.
Hello guys, this is Rommel Melocotones. So what is role player in position in basketball? First is there are types of position player. First is forward, center, and guard. First is center. Our center are generally your tallest player. They're generally are positioned near the basketball. In the offensive, the center goal is to get the open for a pass and to shoot. They are also responsible for blocking defender known a picking or screening. Defensive on defense, the center main responsibilities is to keep opponent from shooting by blocking shoot and passes in the day area. And the second is forward. Next is tallest player will most likely by your forwards. While a forward may be called upon to player under the hoop, they may also be required to operate in the wings and corner areas. And the offensive is forward are responsible to get free for pass, they outside the shoot, drive for goals and rebound. The defensive is responsibilities include preventing drives to goals and rebounding. And the last is the guard. These are the potential your shortest player, and they should be really good at driving pass, seeing court, and passing it. It is their job to bring the ball down the court and set up offensive play. And the offensive is dribbling, passing, and setting up. Offensive play, our guards are responsible. They also need to be able to drive to the basket and to shoot from the perimeter. The defensive, for the last is defensive on the defense on the guard responsible for stealing passes consistently, shoot, preventing, drive to the hoop, and the boxing out. So doon po nagtatapos. Kasama ko po si Glenn Aquino.
Hello guys, my name is Glenn Nacpil, and today's topic I'm going to talk about is all about fundamental and basic rules in basketball. In basketball, there is what we call foul and violation. So here are the questions. What is a foul and what are the different types of violations? First one, what is a foul? Personal foul includes any physical illegal contact. An example of these are hitting someone, pushing someone, holding someone, or slapping someone. Those are considered a foul. The second one, what are the types of violations? Types of violations are walking or traveling, carrying or palming the ball, held ball, goaltending, backcourt violations, and toward the ball. Those are the different types of violations.
And now, we need to know the basic skills of basketball. First, the fundamentals of dribblings. First, you can dribble the ball with two hands because it's called double dribble. If you know on how to dribble the ball, it allows you to go anywhere on the floor you wanna go. First thing you gotta do is only eyes up, so you can see everything on the floor. You only have to trust your eyes and look forward so that you can see left and right. So when I bounce the ball, I got my only eyes up, so that I can see my teammates over here and I can see my teammates over there. What is between the legs? Between the legs is when you bounce the ball beyond your two legs. Make sure you have a good base so that you can dribble the ball back and forth. And next, behind the back. Behind the back is when you dribble the ball behind your back. But do not look when you dribble behind your back because there is a defender in front of you who might steal the ball when you're doing behind your back and you look at it. So when you're doing behind your back, make it like this. Make a quick transform behind left to right and right to left. Lastly, Shamgad. Shamgad is my favorite crossover. A lot of pro players will doing this kind of crossover like Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul. Next, we're doing the Shamgad. First, you need to dribble the ball and throw it with your up hand and catch it with your dominant hand. Make it between the legs and make a Euro step so that you can make a layup. We already discussed the fundamentals of dribbling. We should also know the fundamentals of shooting. to be discussed by CJ Evangelista.
The next basic skills that you need to know is fundamental of shooting. First, you need to have your base. So place your feet like this because your base is extremely important. Just like you're going to jump like this. And second is the position. Place your arm like this, blocking the eyes of the target, and so that they can see their teammate when they're passing the ball. Placing like this. And this position is also when your teammate is passing the ball to you, you can easily take it. And the third one is the finish. When you have your balance position and your teammate is going to pass the ball to you, you can easily take it and have a finish shot like this. Fingertip. The more higher your hand is, the easier to take a shoot like this. Straight. First, the balance, position, and the finish. Have a motion to your body, just like a spring, and feel your body like a spring. And when you going your feet down and place your arm like this and ball is going to pass to you, you can easily take a shot. That's all.
Thank you for listening and watching our video. I hope these informations are useful and helpful to you. I hope you learn a lot on basketball. Thank you and God bless.